welcome to another video. Yeah, Discovery's back in the garage. So last video I moved the Range Rover, turned the Range Rover around, ready to start working on the Range Rover, cleared the garage, got everything ready to start doing that because I hoped that the Discovery was finished. Last Saturday, well, during last week I suppose, driving the Discovery, last Saturday driving the Discovery, we've got a handbrake fault. So after taking it to Southport, after doing the back plates and the bearings, so I don't know whether you know if you're new to the channel, so welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching. If you go back a few videos on the Discovery, there's a Discovery playlist, by the way. So if you go to the playlist section, there's a Discovery playlist for all this. I did the rear back plates, handbrake shoes, took the handbrake model out, new handbrake cables, new wheel bearings, new discs, new pads, all that type of stuff. I couldn't get it sorted, so I took it to the EPB specialist at Southport, and he fixed it. Now, he charged me £300, I think it was, 12-month warranty. This was 6 months ago, and it's failed again. He said they weren't genuine cables that I fitted aftermarket cables, and I just couldn't get it adjusted. Couldn't get it to latch. The reason I couldn't get it to latch, he said, was because I'd got the emergency release cable trapped where it goes above the prop shaft, I think he said. I'm just going to press the camera. So he corrected that, checked everything, and all he did was he said the aftermarket cables tend to be a bit shorter, so you know the little C-clips that you've got to put on the cables where they go into the backing plate. He took them off, adjusted it all up, he said it was fine. Now, to be fair, I never thought it quite sounded right because it didn't do that characteristic whir. It was too quiet when you applied the handbrake, and it also just rolled a little bit until the automatic gearbox park latched. And then I've got the flashing light on the dash again. So I'm going to see if I can sort it. Trouble is, to get to him, it's a 2-hour journey each way to get to him, to get him to fix it. The other issue I've got is in a few weeks I'm going on holiday. I need this car to go on holiday, and I can drive it at the moment without a handbrake. I just can't get the MOT. The MOT runs out the day I get back. So at least I could go and then get it all sorted when I get back. Apart from then, I can't take it to him. So I bought 2 new clips. I'm going to get it jacked up, get it on axle stands, see if I can get it to relatch. I'm going to take the transmission pan off underneath, you know, the cover, just to make sure that I didn't disturb that cable when I was doing the transmission. I don't think so, because I didn't touch it. So I'll put an insert in. I've got a picture of the fault code, which it says that the emergency release cable's been pulled, but then when you put it in Google, it says it can also be badly adjusted brakes, so you know, too much cable slack. So it could be it's just all settled in, and I put the clips back on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll sort it. So let's get my overalls on. One of the other things I'm going to do as well is I want to check the battery voltage, because I've been getting battery voltage, low battery voltage coming up, but not an error, it's just been coming up with the voltage on the dash. So, I mean, I've got a battery tester, and when I tested it a few weeks ago, it said it was okay. So when I first saw it, so we'll see. I've still got the tyres aired down after getting it in. I've not actually started the car since I put the car in the garage on Monday night. So it's been sat here, it's been locked. I'm going to check the suspension height, make sure the suspension's not changing. And then I'm going to check the battery voltage, do the test on it, see what that says, and then we'll get into this, jacking it up and getting on with the rest of it. Oh, I've also bought myself a new 3/8 socket set, because I didn't have any 3/8 sockets. Well, I've got a few, but not many, so I thought I'd buy a proper one. So I bought a 3/8 set, so that'll go in the toolbox. And then I've got a parcel come there, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Let's tell you about that before we carry on. Right, so yeah, let's tell you about that other parcel before we carry on. I'll open it in a minute. So when I had the engine cover off, you know, the acoustic cover off the TD36. Where have I put them? Oh, they're here. I noticed one of the little rubber mountings was missing, and there's a crack in it because probably I knocked it over when I was doing the engine thing at some point, you know, when I was doing the timing belt, again in the playlist, and I put a crack in it. So I've sort of been looking for a new one, but I didn't buy a second-hand cover. So I thought, right, let's see if we can find the rubbers. You can't buy them, you got to buy a whole cover. AliExpress, tried AliExpress, measured them all, worked out what size it was, ordered the right size. They've come. Those are supposedly 16mm across. Where's my tape measure? Doesn't matter tape measure, I've got a ruler here. Let's do a ruler. So these are, yeah, so they are supposedly the right size, but they look tiny in comparison to what's actually on the cover. So I just ordered a second-hand cover, because then I'll get a rubber even if the cover's no good. Let's open it. This could wrap it up well. More bubble wrap. That's where we're going to go now, this way. That's different, isn't it? Mine's not like that. Let's go and have a look at mine. You can see they've got these little rubber feet in there. Little rubber feet. Yeah, those. So this is actually not bad. It'll probably make it a bit quieter, won't it? Bit of oil under there, so I can probably clean that up a bit, but again, it doesn't matter, does it? Good. What's it like on the other side? Needs a clean, and yeah, oil in there. I'll give it a clean, give it a wash off, let it dry in the sun. I can fit that. So here's mine, and I've got a crack in it here. I've got a crack in it here, but if I take it off, you'll see that underneath it's different. So there's no soundproofing underneath, but then there I've got a foot missing. So with having that sound insulation, hopefully it'll be a bit quieter. It could be that that rubber foot's in there somewhere. Yeah, put this back on for now while I get that other one sorted. I've got to get the battery cover off. There we go, you can see the crack better from here. There. So I've got my battery tester on. I've got to remember what battery it is now. I took a photo. So this is what it is. It's an Enduro line 100 amp 840 we want. So we want EN on there. 840. Yep. Testing. So 41% health, you see, charged 90%. So I don't think 41% health is very good, do you? Maybe I should replace it by another, I think. Right, I'll get one ordered. So it says 12.54 volts, that's alright, isn't it? Right, let's get the suspension fuse out next and the suspension relay. That's the suspension fuse. No, because I want to get it on high first before I do it. Jack's up, wheels off. I've had a look at the cables. The cables are free. I can't pull out enough to get the what do you call it, the clips on. So all I'm doing at the moment is I've done the other side. Can you see? There. So at the moment, if I put my light here, it turns freely. I don't want to be taking all the calipers off again. I'm just adjusting them up, and then I'll see if I can get it to seat again properly and, you know, work. So I've just got to turn it round and find the adjuster. Spring, I think it's at the top on this one because it was bottom the other side. So it's around here somewhere. There it is. Right, so we're just going to add a few more turns so it's binding a bit more, and then we'll try it again. So that's binding lightly, so we'll take it off one. Right, let's see if it does the job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect up with gap tool, turn it on, clear the fault, reset the part brake, see if it works. Let's find out. So that's the light we've got, flashing handbrake. So we want part brake, no, not that one. Main menu, faults, continue, part brake. Not bothered about these other ones, it's that one we want. So that's it. Latching failure has been activated. Emergency reset has been activated. You see, well, it hasn't. Clear. Right. So now, if we go back to main menu again, so what we want is service, which is in here apparently. Parking brake, position. Not sure. Need to go back to that, doing nothing again. Still got my fault. So I've not been able to clear it, even though the brake shoes are adjusted correctly and everything. Google, put the code in Google. That's the code at the top. It's coming up with all sorts of things. I've actually done it, obviously. Software error, micro switch error, low battery voltage. Now, let's come back. Calibration error, failed wiring connector, moisture in the connector, etc. So if we go back to that again, let's have a look at the battery voltage. So, live values, select live values, quick list, engine we want, engine, battery voltage, where is it? Battery voltage. Continue. Battery voltage, ECUs. Come on then, where's it gone? View. There you go, 12 volts. So, I mean, battery voltage should be okay. It's fluctuating a little bit. It's not too bad, is it? So, is it an actual fault with the module itself, with one of the micro switches within the module? Or the wiring? Could be, couldn't it? Do I take it back to the guy at Southport? Maybe I have to. It is under warranty with him, supposedly. Right. So that's the Gap 2D. Let's try with the auto and see if the auto will work miracles. Plug that one in. in here. I've got to put my password in. That one. Okay. Yes. So even with the auto, I can't get it to work. It's just coming up with the fault that's saying that the emergency release cable has been pulled, which it hasn't. So is it an actual internal fault within the unit itself? Now the guy said that it was that I'd not got it routed correctly, which was why it wasn't latching, because it was still pulling on the cable. It clips into certain bits, so I don't know how I couldn't have had it routed correctly. He faffed around all day, did a lot of talking and didn't do much. He basically just checked everything, changed a couple of springs, put it back, got it working, took the unit off, bench tested it where I couldn't see what he was doing. So is it just the unit that's worn out? It's done however many operations, they've only got a finite life. Is it the actual microswitch sensor inside that's throwing the error? Don't know. Do I take it back to him again, or just do I get another replacement module and just fit that and be done with it? Because they come with cables. No point me trying to buy a second-hand one. Not sure. So the cables are in correctly. It's adjusted correctly on there. And you now, you see that's tighter now than it was before, so it's definitely working. So I reckon it's just the module that's actually knackered, because before I've had adjusted it so I could turn them. I can't turn that now, so it's got to be on it. It's got to be the module inside the unit that's duff. What a faff. I should have just done that in the first place, you know. Oh well, at least because I've had it all out before, it's relatively easy to do. What a pain. If I put it over my pit, it might make it a bit easier for me to change it next time. But of course I can't get it over my pit because the Range Rover's in the way. Yeah, because that's in the way, you see. I don't know what to do. So I can do it on the floor here. And at least everything will come apart easily, won't it? Because I've had it apart already. And I know what to do. And I've got my tool made up for that clip in there. Right, so I gave the EPV specialist in Southport a ring, and he thinks I probably disturbed the emergency release cable when I was servicing the transmission. So he said to check that, but then he also went on to say take it out from the clip underneath and just lie it on the floor, then get it to the relatch position and do all that, and then to take a little bit off the plastic where it goes in to give it a bit more slack. He doesn't think it's the module, he doesn't think it's the cables, he just thinks it's that emergency release cable. So I'm going to have a look at that and see what happens. Right, there's the transmission that I was working on. Right, transfer box. There's the emergency release cable up there. I haven't disturbed that while I was doing that, but he said to take it out, so we'll take it out. It's just a twist. And then he said to make sure it's pushed back down, which it is. Then he said what I can do is take a bit off there. There we go. So taking it out, what he said is there's a bit there. He said I can take a bit off the white plastic to make sure it's slack. You can see it's still tight. So I'm going to cut a bit off there and then we'll try the relatch. But yeah, I haven't disturbed this. Hopefully the light's okay. So now you can see I've got plenty of slack there now. That is properly released. I've taken off about a centimetre off the end. So let's try and relatch it now. See if that works. Well, that hasn't worked. Tried both diagnostic tools again, still won't latch. Pulled the release cable manually again, and you can definitely feel it's released, even after chopping loads off, you know, that centimetre off. So back on the phone to him again. So I spoke to him again. The next thing he said to do is just check that the cables are still attached to the adjusters on the shoes, and the cable, the nipple hasn't come off the end of the actual handbrake cable. He did say it's strange. So yeah, we're going to pop that out and we'll have a look at that. So I don't know whether you can make out in there. Sorry for the strobing, you probably can't. But that's one of them. So I can see it there. Right, so after several conversations with my dad, several conversations with, well, not several, 2 conversations with the EPB specialist himself, going back on the car, trying different things that he was suggesting, he wasn't sure what was wrong. Personally, when I checked the live values on the gap tool or on the auto tool, when you're applying the handbrake or when it's trying to do the reef latch procedure, the torque value isn't changing. So my personal opinion, because I can hear it starting to slip on the plastic gears, and I think that the cable ends are in here, the nipples haven't come off the end of the cables or anything like that. The emergency release cable is definitely free. I can feel it pulling on the little lever that catches. So that's shoved in as far as I can. I think either there's a micro switch that's bust inside the unit itself, so it thinks that the latch is still open, or the torque sensing circuitry, the sensor itself inside the module's gone. So I decided to buy a replacement module. So then the decision was, do I go back to the EPB specialist and get him to look again and get him to fix it? It's 2.5 hours each way drive for me, plus he'll probably spend all day doing it, so it's a whole day of time. It's 210, 215 miles each way, so we're talking £60 in fuel. Do I just buy a new module? So I decided to buy a new module and cables. Then I was looking on eBay, do I buy a used module? Do I buy a new module? You can buy used modules on eBay that supposedly have got a 10-year guarantee, 5-year guarantee, 2-3 years, all sorts of different things. Trying to read the reviews on them. Then I looked at Multins 4x4, which is what I buy a lot of my parts from. A genuine one is £736 delivered. Euro Spurs one 400 and something. I thought, you know what, and then I was reading the reviews on there, and somebody else had already commented, spent time before trying to do it on the cheap. Save yourself time, save yourself money, just buy the genuine one. So that's what I've done, I've bought the genuine one. Another thing is, my parents have sent me the money to pay for the genuine one, so thank you very much, Mum and Dad. There was no need, I can afford it myself, but they've said it's birthday present, so thank you very much. So to fit that when that comes, I won't go through the process again because obviously I've already taken it out, but I've got to take the calipers off, I've got to take the discs off, then got to take the calipers off, got to get the discs off, but I won't do that today, I'll wait till it comes. Shouldn't be as bad as last time round. So in the meantime, what I've done is, hang on, I've cleaned up that new engine cover that came. I've given that a good clean. Left it outside to dry in the sun. The bird got it. I also, while I was at it, cleaned up the gearbox under tray. So I'm going to refit the gearbox under tray because that's nowhere near it. I'm still not going to change that fuel sensor and the actual diesel fuel filter. I won't do that till a later date when I've got this working and it's had its MOT, because I don't want to mess it up any more than it already is. But I'm going to get this refitted. And then there's a couple of other little jobs I can do. So I'll come back to you in a bit. So I've made a start getting the old cables out, get these bolts out again, fix the module to the chassis, using the tool again that I've made last time to get this one out. This one's the difficult one. I couldn't get my ratchet on it properly. I mean, it'll probably get it out now, but it's finger tight, so I've dropped the spare wheel as well, so I can undo the nuts that hold the module in, and then maybe Friday next week I'll get it in. It's just such a pain, this one, you can't get at it. That's it. That's the one that took me ages last time. So that's those two out. So it's now about 3:15. Oh, yeah, that's what I was using. My new set, my new 3/8 set, and my driver. I could get 3 of them, but not that last one. I'll leave them there, put them away later. So that's probably it for now. So that'll be it for this episode. See you in the next one, where we'll get this new module in, and hopefully it'll work. So thanks for watching. See you next time.